Spider-Man 3 is arguably the most divisive of the Sam Raimi trilogy, and to be fair, that's not entirely unwarranted. But is the new Marvel Legends Spider-Man 3 black suit Spidey as dazzling as Aunt May's engagement ring? Or is Hasbro gonna put some dirt in our eye?
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. Starting with the packaging, and I really like this box as opposed to the blister card wave. Just to jog your memory, this is what that looked like. Nice window showing off the goods, logos down here, the Spider-Man 3 symbiote logo up top, promotional art on the side, little picture on the other. This guy isn't going to be showing up at Target or anything, but you might be able to find him at GameStop or Books A Million, so here's the UPC. And then on the back we got a bio, along with a product shot, and an insert showing off the accessories. This is a lot more effort than we've been getting lately, so for packaging, Bully Maguire can dig on 5 points. Moving on to presentation, and this Tobey Maguire stands at 6 inches on the dot, or 15.5 centimeters, and is near complete reuse of Hasbro's No Way Home version. The main new sculpting being the torso. The spider on the red and blue costume looks like this, whereas the black costume tweaked those legs a bit. Flipping it around, you can see they also updated the back. So even though there's no difference up front, it's still new tooling nonetheless. Beyond that though, the body's exactly the same, and while I do have my issues with this body, I like it a lot better here. My main issue with this figure is the way the articulation messes with the lines, and the general lack of muscular definition. Still, I do think that Hasbro overall did a good job. I'm particularly pleased by the texture of the bodysuit, specifically in how subtle they were able to make it. I also like the paint job a lot better here. With the red and blue version, I've always been a bit mixed on the webbing, feeling that it was a bit messy and could be maybe a bit darker. And while this one still has some areas of fuzziness, the silver really pops. In general, I kind of had mixed feelings about how the black suit was executed in the movie, wishing that they had gone with something a bit more traditional. And to be fair, there are behind the scenes pictures that show that they were testing it out. Still, within the logic of the Sam Raimi universe, I do like this. And if we're honest, the costume is the least of that movie's problems. That brings us to the head and to Bully Maguire himself. In Hasbro's defense, I don't think anything will ever live up to the 3D printing that Mafex was able to achieve, but for a mass market factory produced figure, I think Hasbro's done a great job. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's a perfect likeness to K.D. Lang. Joking aside though, this is fine. And while I can't help but wonder if this head isn't a little bit big for the body, I am still pretty pleased with it. Well, as pleased as I can be considering the source material. Side by side, I think it might be the same head, just painted differently and with different hair. Granted, I think that works. For presentation, I'm giving Black Suit Spider-Man 4 points. If you're enjoying this video so far, do me a favor and give it a like. And if you'd like to support my channel so I can make even more content, you can donate to my coffee in the link below. Moving on to Poseability, and it's been a minute since I've looked at one of these, but the articulation is pretty impressive. From the top, and the head is on a dumbbell joint, but he can look up a fair amount. Not as much down as I would have thought, an okay amount of tilt, and of course all the way around. Moving on down, and Maguire has swivel hinge shoulders that can raise this high, and get complete rotation. Forward and back with a butterfly joint, though not as far back as I would like to see. Still, no problem with the bicep swivel. He's also got pinless double jointed elbows with a perfect bend, and wrist balls that can swivel and hinge up and down. Move into the middle, and this Tobey Maguire has diaphragm and U-joints. That's about as good of a backwards arch as you're gonna get. Just a heads up though that the webs don't continue underneath. But that hunch forward is exactly what I want to see. He's also got a nice deep side-to-side tilt, and of course twist. Below the waist, and not only does Spider-Man have ball-jointed hips, they also have drop-down hinges. Even with that in mind though, he doesn't quite get a 90-degree kick, and he can only split this wide. Working our way down the leg though, we do have thigh cut, pinless, double-jointed knees with a nice deep bend, and while he might not have boot cut or toe articulation, he does have Marvel Legends ankles that can hinge, and like fans' opinion of this trilogy, the second that Peter Parker started disco dancing his way down Park Avenue, pivot. For Poseability, I'm giving Bully Maguire 4 points. Moving on to Playability, and I've got to admit, this thing is really well packed. Throughout the hands behind a camera portions, we've been looking at the Bully Maguire head, but of course we also have the masked option, which once again is the same as the original. I'm also pleased to report that Tobey comes with a complete complement of hands. So then, in addition to the fists we've been looking at, he's also got a pair of wall crawlers and a pair of web-spinning thwip hands. It's kind of a peculiar thing about Spider-Man 3. In the comics, comics, one of the benefits of the symbiote costume is it produced its own natural webbing.
Bacon has its own oil!
For the purpose of the comic, that was great because it meant that Peter would never run out. But the Sam Raimi movies gave him organic webbing to start with, so that's a benefit of the costume they really weren't able to explore. To be honest, the head and hands would have been enough, but Hasbro went one step beyond. My favorite accessory, this gooey symbiote buddy. The painting on the teeth is a bit sloppy, but I really love the texture and detail, and all the little extra teeth is a nice touch. Why, it even kind of looks like a hand caressing his cheek. Peter never looked like this in the movie exactly, but it's still a pretty cool design, and reminds me of shots of the suit crawling around. Not only that, but since it doesn't have the webbing, you could put him on your regular black costume Spider-Man as well. Of course, playability is more than accessories, it's also about how well your figure plays with others, and if there's one thing black costume Spider-Man is famous for, it's how well he plays with others. For the closest thing we have to another character from Spider-Man 3, and here's Sandman from No Way Home. That said, and here's the comic version for those who might want to do a custom. On that note, and here we have Green Goblin from No Way Home, and No Way Home Dr. Octopus, which was marketed as Spider-Man 2. Until such a time as Hasbro gives us Topher Grace Venom, here we have Tom Hardy, and the king of cameos himself, Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee. If you were wondering about a head swap, here's what that looks like. The skin tones are a little bit different, but I think it works closely enough. Just don't click the head all the way down, otherwise he won't have any neck. On that note, if you're wondering about how this head looks on the retro card Peter Parker body, here you go. It's the same body, just with a couple of tweaks. And honestly, for this version of Peter, I think I prefer the Stan Lee swap. With that in mind, I don't have a lot of suited body options, but for a good basic all-around one, here's Professor Xavier. This body, all in black, is your best option for the classic Bully Maguire. Obviously, you're going to want to lose the tie. Otherwise, and all he needs is a piano and a figure of Mary Jane to slap around. In terms of other Tobeys, though, and here's a couple from Tobeys, and of course the Hasbro one we looked at in presentation, and lastly, the recent Mafex version. Otherwise, and rounding out the rest of the Peter trio is Andrew Garfield, as well as Tom Holland as he appeared in Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, bringing us to the Marvel Legends version of the final swingsuit, and the upgraded suit of Miles Morales from the Insomniac Spider-Man 2 game. A lot of you asked for a head swap of these two. As you can see, the reds are different and the web lines are a different thickness, but if you really wanted to fudge it, you could make it work. Other way around, and the different reds are less pronounced, though those thicker web lines do stand out. To its credit, though, the bodysuit textures match up pretty nicely. Back over to Bully Maguire, though, and here's some other black costume Spider-Man options. And for some red and blue options, here's Renew Your Vows, Amazing Friends, and Maximum. And then for a relative scale comparison, here he is with Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man. And as always, here he is with Stealth Iron Man. Huh? Achoo! Great, like I don't have enough trouble. Not only does this Spidey have all the accessories you can need, that symbiote piece can elevate other black costume Spideys in your collection. For playability, I'm giving Spider-Man 3 5 points. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price.
Give me rent.
Black Suit Spidey is a fan channel exclusive and retails for $29.99.
Gonna cry?
The stated reason for this is tariffs, but even as the tariff situation fluctuated, the price of this figure hasn't. My spidey senses tell me that was more of an excuse than a reason.
It's time to pay, Marco!
Either way, I can't deny that there is a lot of value in the box. I may still have mixed feelings about certain aspects of the movie, but in terms of the action figure,
So good.
for price, I'm giving Black Suit Spidey 3 points, averaging out to a still better than good total of 4.2 out of 5. Sound off in the comments and let me know what you think about this figure and Spider-Man 3 in general. For more black costume content, check out one of these, and until next time, play nice, have fun, and
Good riddance.